Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we have a ton of stuff to go over here, man. The match in the background right now is one of the best matches I think I've had in Call of Duty in a very long time. You'll see why here in a moment. But here in this video, we have a lot to go over. We have Treyarch speaking out about matchmaking yet again here within Black Ops 7, and then we have a metric ton of leaks to cover, as it appears they're pretty much just going like all in with damage control because Black Ops 7 obviously did not sell nearly as well as what they were hoping for. I said a couple of days ago, but what they're going to have to do with this game is if they want to win players back, they're going to have like the craziest post-launch in the history of Call of Duty, and so far it seems like they might be doing that, but of course there's always a catch when it comes to Activision and when it comes to the COD franchise. So we're going to be covering all that here today, but before we get started, I would like to apologize for the lack of updates lately because with the holiday and everything, I decided to take some time off and spend it with the family. But in the background, I've also been gathering a bunch of stuff and recording a bunch of stuff for future videos, so all throughout the month of December we're going to have a ton of stuff to go over, and starting today we need to take a look at Treyarch's response to XclusiveAce calling out their matchmaking a couple days ago. So a lot of you guys probably saw us already, so I'll save you all the time of reading it out loud and all that, but essentially Treyarch reached out to XclusiveAce. They didn't post to their own social media or anything, but they emailed Ace and they reiterated to him one more time that nothing has changed about matchmaking going from the beta to the full launch. They say they're looking into the matches that he showed in his video to kind of figure out what went wrong there, and they're essentially blaming player demographics and playlist selections for the results that he got for his video. Like essentially matchmaking is perfect, it's exactly what they said it was going to be, but the player base and the game modes are different now compared to then. Just what does that even mean? Like, it's such a nothing answer that they gave Ace right there. Like, sure, there are more game modes here in the full launch, I understand that, and I suppose like always certain kinds of players may frequent certain game modes, you know, like your more hardcore and sweaty players might specifically search for something like domination or hardpoint, whereas your more casual players, they probably frequent things like team deathmatch or face off. Like, that's always been a thing here within the COD franchise, but with truly open matchmaking, wouldn't everything kind of like even out eventually? Like in Ace's video, he was only searching for team deathmatch, which is arguably the most casual mode in COD history, yet his main account was getting into matches slower and having nearly double the ping as his bot account. And did Treyarch answer anything about that? Absolutely not, man. They said, we're going to look into this here, but just it makes zero sense, man. I'm going to have to pull out my Father of 4 account and do my own testing to kind of figure this out, because what they told him does not actually excuse anything that he showed within the video itself. And when it comes to player demographics, what happened there, right? Because if anything, I would think that the beta would be much sweatier than the launch of the game. How many times have I said in recent years that I always dread the beta for a new Call of Duty title? Not because I don't want to play the game or anything, but because betas are always ridiculously sweaty. And why is that? Well, simply put, you have to pay to play the game early. And I think it's reasonable to say that people that pay to play a fraction of a game a month or two before its launch are going to err on the hardcore side of the COD spectrum, right? So betas are typically just not really that much fun to play, but of course, there is the open section of the beta as well. And in the case of Black Ops 7, it was only open for a total of 4 days. So you had a time period where from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, not even a weekend, mind you, players could install like 60 to 80 gigs and play a fractioned, sectioned off version of the Black Ops 7 multiplayer. Now, maybe I'm the crazy one here, but I truly don't see your super casual players bothering to do that. Yet during that time, matchmaking was damn near instant, lobbies were relaxed, and it truly felt like the old days of COD once again. You know, it was really, really good. I said it in dozens of videos after the beta, but what I experienced there was night and day different than the experience that we've all been having since the launch of Black Ops 7. So now we have Treyarch claiming that the reason why Ace got the results that he did is simply due to player demographics and playlist variety, but honestly, nothing about that adds up to me. Like, let's pretend here for a second that what they're saying is true, and the community just happened to change a ton between the beta and the launch, even though it was like 1 month basically. You're telling me that all the hardcore players decided not to play the beta, and instead they were waiting to spend the $80 to play the full launch of the game? Like, it really doesn't make sense whatsoever. Why was the beta, for the first time ever, more casual than the actual launch of the game? It really doesn't make sense. But in the interest of trying to be objective about this, I suppose Treyarch would be telling the truth if number A, the beta was just full of casual free-to-play COD fans that ended up not buying the game at launch, or number B, all the hardcore players quit the beta at some point and then decided to wait for the full launch of the game. Like, I mean, seriously here, guys, it was like they flipped a light switch when they changed the matchmaking during the beta. I think a lot of players forget how the timeline went, so allow me to refresh this for all of you. During the beta, the first 2 days were closed, meaning you had to have Game Pass or pre-order the game, and it was completely normal matchmaking, the same bullshit matchmaking that we've seen every COD title since Modern Warfare 2019. October 2nd and October 3rd, it was basically just full-on skill-based matchmaking, right? But then on day 3, they opened up the matchmaking, and it was instantly different. Instantly, you just noticed a difference in your time to match. You noticed a difference in your connection quality and the sweatiness of your matches as well. And mind you, this was still during the closed portion of the beta where only Game Pass subscribers or people who pre-ordered could even get into the game. And I've got the receipts here, man. Like, look at how fast the matchmaking was here. And not only that, but notice my connection quality once the match loads in. Now, I will say, my ping isn't horrible in the full launch of Black Ops 7. It's not great. It's usually anywhere from like 35 to 45. Sometimes it's around the 50s. But during the beta, I was consistently getting 20 to 25 milliseconds every single match. And I don't believe I've hit that even one time during the full launch of the game. And mind you guys, all of this was happening before they opened up the beta. So Treyarch can't just say it's a completely different player base or playlists are messing things up, because even though Black Ops 7 sold way less than usual, it still has hundreds of thousands, if not millions of players. And with that being the case, I think it's reasonable to expect near instant match queues and top tier connection every single match, regardless of game mode, if skill was truly being minimally considered in the matchmaking system, the way that it was back during the beta. Now, going back to Ace's tweet here, which is technically Treyarch's tweet, since they're kind of just using him as a talking piece because they're too afraid to post on their actual social media. But if you really look at this, they didn't offer a proper explanation whatsoever for what happened in his testing, right? They just said blah, 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 player demographics and blah, 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 playlist options and stuff like that. They did not explain why a bot account with horrible stats not only gets into matches faster, but also has nearly twice as good of a connection. It's all just like smoke and mirrors, man. You would think if there was like a true protected bracket within the COD franchise, then that bracket would be what the exclusive bot account would have in it, right? And you would think, since they have to basically strictly matchmake that account with other bot accounts and other terrible players, that it would take longer. That connection quality would be worse. It's like reverse skill-based matchmaking, right? If you're that bad and your stats are that horrible, you need to find other accounts and other players that are just like that, which in theory would mean longer queue times. In theory would mean worse connection, because at that point, all they care about is you not getting completely destroyed every other match. But no, that doesn't happen. But where it does happen is when he plays his main account, which has good stats and all these kill streaks called in and all these levels and prestiges and all that. That account, which should have the faster matchmaking, is slower and with a worse connection. Like, make it make sense here, guys. And instead of Treyarch like actually talking about this, instead they're just seemingly sweeping it under the rug and just kind of hoping that fans forget about it. But matchmaking has been like the top topic within the COD community for the past 5 or 6 years, right? People are not going to forget about it. So I do look forward to them officially speaking out about this problem. But as I said, I really don't see that happening. But if it does, I will definitely keep you guys posted. Next up here, and to move away from matchmaking here for a little bit, I figured I should cover some Call of Duty news, as it shows us exactly what Activision and Treyarch are planning to do to try to win back players after the failed launch of Black Ops 7. It does seem like the player retention numbers are about average for this time of year, but obviously the sales were really freaking bad. What was it, like 61%, 63%, something like that, like really freaking bad. Obviously Activision's not happy about that, and they're going to do what they can to try to make all that money back, and all this information is going to be coming in from Resident Leaker and all-around handsome fellow, the Ghost of Hope. So let's just go ahead and take a look at what we have here. So, exclusive, multiple sources have told me that Black Ops 7 Zombies will be remaking Alpha Omega for one of the 5 round-based maps in its post-launch seasons. Nuketown Zombies is being remastered as a survival map as well to go along with the remake. So that right there is a bit of a kick in the teeth for some fans, but it's a pleasant treat for others. I'm seeing some divided commentary on this, right? So on the one hand, I personally liked Alpha Omega. I enjoyed that. I did the Easter egg on it back in the day and everything. I know a lot of other people like the map as well, but when we hear 5 post-launch Zombies maps in the biggest content season ever, I don't think many fans were hoping for a remaster. I think they were hoping for something original. When it comes to Nuketown Zombies, I think it coming back as like a survival map, that's great. You know, I mean, survival is just there to grind out camos and challenges, and truth be told, the majority of my time in Black Ops 7 has been playing Zombies, whether it be Ashes of the Damned or whether it be just grinding headshots on farm and watching YouTube. Zombies is really good this year. I truly think it's going to carry the game the same way it did back during Black Ops 6, but I think the hope for a lot of Zombies fans right now is Alpha Omega's like remake is going to be similar to Ashes of the Damned. You guys might remember this leading up to the full launch of Black Ops 7, but it was leaked forever ago that BO7 was going to have a remaster of Transit, right? And for me personally, I was a big fan of Transit back in Black Ops 2. I know a lot of people hated it because of the fog and everything. Like, you know, they were limited by the technology at the time, but I thought Transit was pretty cool. Well, it turns out we didn't get a remaster of Transit. We got Ashes of the Damned, which is a very similar map, but it's obviously a bit different. We have the farm still there. We have a version of the diner still there. Ted's back, but the bus is gone. Like, it's similar to Transit in a lot of ways, but obviously is not Transit. So I think a lot of people are hoping that Alpha Omega will be similar to Alpha Omega, but still be its own original map, and I suppose time will tell exactly what's going to be happening with that. But speaking of things being similar, it looks like everybody's favorite freaking meat grinder is going to be returning as the hidden map for Black Ops 7 Season 1. We can see from Reality UK that apparently STAKEOUT is in the game files for Black Ops 7, and Ghost of Hope says he believes it's going to be the hidden map that we saw on the Season 1 roadmap. And then on top of that, looking forward to Season 2, it looks like even more Black Ops 2 remakes are are going to be coming out. This time it's going to be Yemen, Plaza, and Slums being added into the mix. And for me personally, it's always been interesting that a map like Plaza, which if you were there, you know, like if you know, you know, Black Ops 2, people loved Plaza. It was a really cool map. The I want to try it out song in the middle and everything. People enjoyed Plaza, yet for some reason, in 13 years, it's never been remastered, yet we get the same maps over and over, like freaking Raid and Hijacked and things like that. So while we don't have a ton of information right now about new things being added to the game, we do know that Alpha Omega in some capacity is going to be coming back. Nuketown Zombies is going to be coming back. Plaza, Yemen, Slums are coming back. Freaking Stakeout, of course, has to be coming back, despite the fact that that map basically ruined Black Ops 6 because nobody played the real multiplayer. Instead, everybody was just in Stakeout 24/7 throughout the entire freaking year. And then on top of that, we already have Standoff coming back. Winter, Hijacked, and Fringe, and Meltdown, they're all coming to Season 1. Like, man, freaking honestly, it seems like Black Ops 7 is like this classic rock station that just keeps playing the hits over and over and over instead of focusing on new stuff. And in my mind anyway, the last time we saw so many remakes in one Call of Duty game was probably Black Ops 4. Of course, we did have the launch maps in Modern Warfare 3, I suppose. Every single one of those was a remake, but you guys get what I'm saying here, right? Those games can be good. MW3 by the end was pretty solid. Black Ops 4, in my opinion, is one of the best Call of Duty games of all time, despite the fact that so much of the game was reliant on remakes and remasters and things like that. And a big part of why that was the matchmaking was truly and genuinely open and classic, right? It was like the last game we had before skill-based matchmaking in the dark ages of the COD franchise. And when it comes to the matchmaking here in Black Ops 7, that topic is still very much up for debate. Like, Treyarch cannot give us a straight answer. They're not even going to say it officially on their pages. They're going to have to go through XclusiveAce's freaking email to talk about it. But I would like to reiterate one more time that I do truly think that the matchmaking here in this game is better than what we've had recently, right? Think back to Black Ops 6, MW2, MW3, going all the way back to Modern Warfare 2019. I think it's better than the matchmaking we saw there, but it's still nothing like we saw back in Black Ops 4, or hell, even the matchmaking that we saw just last month with the Black Ops 7 beta. Now, one final bit of news before we wrap this video up here today is it looks like that same matchmaking, whatever the matchmaking is here in Black Ops 7, the freaking rug pull matchmaking, the semi-open matchmaking, whatever it is you want to call it, apparently that's going to be coming to Warzone as well in Season 1. And you guys know me, I'm not really a Warzone person. I've never really been a Warzone person. I was always more of a Blackout guy. That's one of the many reasons why I love Black Ops 4 so much. Blackout was fantastic. But I am curious about this, right? If we are to believe it's all the free-to-play players that made the beta feel so different, even though I pretty much disproved that earlier in this video, then Warzone with Season 1 should end up being like the most casual, laid-back Battle Royale experience that we've ever freaking seen. Like all those bot lobbies that you see the two boxers and all the VPNers doing in Warzone streams and all that, that should be like virtually every lobby, right? If it's truly open matchmaking within Warzone because it's free to play and it's full of casual players and everything. So yeah, I think that's going to answer a lot of our questions when it comes to the matchmaking that's going on here within Call of Duty. But as always, we're going to have to wait and see exactly how everything plays out. But for right now, I'm going to wrap this video up here today. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. Be sure to sub to the channel if you're new around here. Thank you all so much for listening. And until next time, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.